Yeah, I'm truly grateful. Lovely to see you again. Thank you for coming. And it's a true privilege and honor to have you all here today. And our theme for this International Women's Day Symposium is Unlock the Power Within. Let's just go back there so you can see it before I go. Superb. Awesome. You can see our wonderful speakers here. If you just can identify some of them, they speak to them, connect with them. They are so full of incredible knowledge and wealth, expertise as well, that I believe we can learn and draw a lot from them. So look at the faces there. You find some of them here. Some of them are still on their way. I think a couple of them are yet to come. And the theme, like I said, is unlocking the power within. And where is it? Yeah. Unlocking the power within, bold actions to thrive, limitless growth professionally and personally. The theme for this year's International Women's Day is accelerating action. So we don't if there's one thing we do, we don't always use the theme, especially if it's just like some cliche, those things. So we kind of modify it to be relevant to the incredible women we serve. And we thought, okay, it's accelerating action. We've got to really enhance our action. And too often, a lot of us, when we hear accelerating action, I'm sure we start pointing, yes, the government has to do more. Yes, the community has to do more. The teachers have to do more. But what we are doing today, we're coming back to us. We're coming back to us, personal responsibility. We're inviting each and everyone present here today, including myself, to just pause. What is it that I have to do in my life to bring the change that I've always desired? Maybe you'll find now you've achieved so much, but I want to let each one of us know that it's not just about me, it's not just about my family, my children. I have a responsibility to look out for those children who are actually maybe orphans. They don't have any parent looking out for them. Because the truth is, if we only focus on our children, our children go to school where they will meet children who are broken, who are shattered. They will have to meet with these children. And then we can't come and say, oh, they're abusive, they're this. We forget to know that we didn't actually have the responsibility that we, as leaders, as adults, as mothers, ought to take. So I'm calling us back home today. I'm calling us right within the compartment of our own home. What are we doing? We often talk of peace. We are having war. We want peace. Before I go to my real talk, as we start today, I want us to be reminded, peace is not the absence of war in the world. Peace is not the absence of chaos out there. Like J.F. Kennedy beautifully said it, where there cannot be peace in the world, let there be peace in the cities, in the nations. When there cannot be peace in the nations, let there be peace in the cities. When there not be peace in the cities, let there be peace in the neighborhood. It's a small component. And when we still cannot have peace within the neighborhood, let there be peace within the homes. When there is still no peace within the homes, because maybe we have some spouse, some child, some friend, some relative who is always, angry at work. Guess what? Let there be peace within you. The ultimate peace that surpasses all human understanding. It starts from us. If I am at peace, if I have peace, wherever I go, it's a state of being. I step out, I am peace. If I'm light, if there's darkness in the world, let the light within me shine. And guess what? Wherever you and I go, that light shining within you, we don't talk of darkness. Darkness is a lower force and energy. When there is light, it engulfs darkness. In fact, darkness is the absence of light. There cannot be darkness when there is light. If there cannot be love in the world, I hear a lot of people say, oh, we have no, how do they say that? Tolerance for hatred. Hatred is the most powerful negative, one of the most powerful negative words. It has a terrible negative effect in our lives that has been scientifically proven. Followed by no, after no. Some incredible cells in our body shut down. So when we use that word, then we gather people to HATE, I don't want to use it myself, those who are already doing that act. And guess what? Hatred is the absence of love. If there is love, there can be no hatred. Have we taught that those people who are going about, they have no love. They are void of love, either because they've rejected it or they've not been privileged. But if we come with that light, because we've learned to build the life within, we've learned to create and develop the love within. Self-love. It's not something that we say, go do your nails in the salon, these incredible women. It's about being whole and integral. Loving yourself, acknowledging yourself, appreciating yourself, knowing your worth, knowing your values. You don't need to set boundaries. When you know who you are, wherever you step in, your principles, your values take over. This light doesn't need to set boundaries. I'm going to shine here and not shine here. Whatever it is, as it shifts, its power takes over. As you move in, you take over the environment. When you are loved, because it's a powerful force, it overcomes hatred. So at Voice of Nations, what do? At Voice of Nations, we educate, empower, inspire, motivate and transform the life and status of young girls, women and families, so they can become aware of their rights and full potential and step out there into leadership positions. We strongly believe that each and every human on this planet is unique, super unique, valuable and worthy, and has the power and ability to add value in our world and enrich it, make it better than we found it when we stepped into this world. We believe that it's not about a skin color, race, or background. That's why Voice of Nations, our nations. We believe our voice, words are powerful, words are life or death. Take a moment and pause. We've got doctors, we've got lawyers, we've got engineers, we've got teachers in here. How did we become that? Words, spoken, written words in school. We've got people who are depressed, who've lost their hope to live again. What happened? Words spoken over their lives. Words in the mind, which are called thoughts. Kill them and held them prisoners of their own mind. Today we want you all, when you live here today, if there's one thing you're going to take with you, understanding you're super powerful, you're super amazing, you're truly unique. There is no one like you on this planet. You are a masterpiece. I mean, a masterpiece. But too often we fail to see that. That's why what we want to tell you today is about unlocking the power within. Because you'll be like, oh, see, I can't see this power. I love to come with some stuff. I needed to bring my orange and stuff, but you know, I don't have it here. I don't have it here. I'm just going to show you on my slide. I don't like to use slides sometimes because it interrupts the flow of me talking. Like, I need your help, please, darling. Oh, Sarah, can I have your help, darling? Sarah? Sweetheart. Okay, I'll need her help now. Awesome. I'll just go ahead, yeah, thank you. Just help me go ahead. I don't have this. So. My talk today, you know, and for those who are here, I just want to tell you, we've got some incredible programs, fully funded. Women in September, we do work with women all over Liverpool, but this is fully funded. You have one-to-one sessions, unlock your power, know who you truly are. If you have whatever it is, depression, mental health and well-being, thriving up to mental health and well-being, having your coaching sessions, getting a job, starting your own business, writing a book. We have some incredible women here who never believed they could ever write a book. They are now authors. Please, it's fully funded. It starts in April. We've just finished the first round. We're finishing at the end of this month. We're starting again with a new cohort. And you'll be coached and mentored by myself, absolutely for free, over a period of 6 months. So please do get in touch. Let us know, talk to us. We have other incredible projects, IT going on, so many programs that if you're interested, please have a chat with me, have a chat with Sarah, or we have a wonderful hour there as well. We'll be happy to speak with you. Thank you, my darling. What's the time? I need to ensure I keep to time. I'm not even spoken yet. Okay. Oh no, I'll surpass my time, haven't I? Okay. Let me do it quickly and then we're going to keep the time. Yeah. It's only 2. Really? I'm going to take my time.
Or doing something. Sure.
Just, I'm going to take it. Perfect. Awesome. We have some people who wanted to watch live. We had to do Zoom. It would just be like it has to be in here and then managing the Zoom. So you look amazing, by the way, Sarah. So beautiful. And of course, that amazing lady there. Yeah. We're always smiling at Voice of Nations. Always smiling. Awesome. I'm just going to talk today that we're saying the theme, unlock the power within. if you're telling me you're thinking, oh, come on, Sylvia, you don't know me. You don't know my trials. You don't know what's going on in my life. I'm nowhere close to what you're referring to today. I want to show you something. And my new book, actually, this is, I was going to talk from the book, but I just said, Unlock the Power Within, 7 days to unlocking your greatness. I read this book in 7 days. It's written in the form of days. Chapter 1 is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and day 7. So I will use this book, but I'm going to just put those slides there to give you a visual example to just go ahead, please. So everyone has power within, and I'm going to ask you a question, which in this book as well I talk about. Everything you ever become is already trapped within you, am I right? How many of us believe we are super amazing and powerful? Let me see some power ones. I love that. Only 1, 2, 3? How many of us believe? Or how many of us, each time we step out, when you wake up in the morning, you make your world a better place, much better than you found it? How many of us? Awesome, awesome. How many of us fully know who we are? And we are really unapologetic about that. I love that. How many of us know who we are, but we are playing small, we are shy? Yeah. A lot of, it's a British thing. The Americans are like, I'm this. I just want to say something honestly. How many of us think some people can be overconfident? Yeah. There's nothing as overconfident. No, absolutely. No. Confidence is trust in yourself. Trusting in myself doesn't mean I don't know my weakness. I can trust only on what I know I'm capable of doing. And I trust my judgment that when I don't know how to do this, I'm going to ask for help from the wonderful Chris. Because he's highly gifted in something that I'm not gifted. So you can never be overconfident. It's a thing that people who are, they have no self-esteem, they have low confidence, say to bring you down, to make them feel better. Arrogance is something else. You can be arrogant. Arrogant is thinking I'm the best. I'm the top and everyone else. That's really bad. Because everyone is unique. No one is superior, no one is inferior. Mm-hmm. The confidence is that, oh, I know who I am. Mm-hmm. I know, for example, on the eyes of this body, I do bring the best side to this body. When we wake up every morning and say, oh my goodness, my eyes are really great today, my eyes have rested well. Are we bragging? No. It's just a simple truth. So the eyes could never be arrogant to say, I'm the only part of this body that brings sight to this body and make it see so well that it never stumbles and falls. And it's like, hold on, if I need to eat, I cannot eat. Mom, can you please help me? Because you do this job really well. You are so unique at eating. And the nose is like, well, without me, how do you even live? I'm going to do the breathing for you. And that's just it. We're like the body parts. Each one unique for a unique purpose. The eyes cannot be fighting or competing with the nose. I can't be competing with my incredible humans, fellow beautiful women and leaders. How can the eyes compete with the nose? Absolutely. It's for the edification of the body. We cannot afford to compete with one another, especially as women. We are powerful. Our world needs us. We need to be confident in our role, our purpose, our identity, and we remain unshakable. There are so many coaches out there, so many speakers. I just smile. You could never be Sylvia. I can never be there as well. Let's work together. She's got some incredible strengths that I don't have. She brings on board, just like the eyes, the nose, and her body works all together perfectly well. So this is talking about seed. It starts with unlock the greatness within you. What's that greatness? Is the seed. And let's look at something. In every seed, we've got the seed there. Yeah, just say it down. Orange seed, mandarin, tangerine, all of those fruits. How are they called? We've put them in the family as scientists or the citrus fruit family. If I were to take, you can see them, you can distinguish, right? You can show me the lemon there, you can see it clearly. The orange. If I were to bring someone who doesn't know what an orange looks like, they wouldn't be able to identify, isn't it? So let's say this is the end, this is the finished product. This is when you fulfill your purpose, this is when you are living fully. This is the end of, that seed growing to produce fruits. The greatness, these fruits, where did they come from? Seed. The seed. If I have the seed here, normally I have my oranges and mandarins, so you can really see it and remember. Then I'll put that for you to you, but it's so artificial. I wanted to hold it in my hand so you can remember. If I had an orange seed with me, a mandarin seed, a lemon seed, would you be able to tell the difference? No. Okay. But when I saw those three, when they grow and produce the fruits, can you tell the difference? Yeah. It becomes super evident. Where has the fruits come from? Did I go look for it out of that seed? It's entrapped within the seed. If I take an orange seed from there, the orange fruits, endless orange fruits, are trapped within that tiny little seed. Am I right? One tiny seed doesn't only produce one orange. Endless amount of oranges. It's never out there. It's within the seed. When we don't see our greatness, that's why I said within. The oranges are trapped within that seed. Your greatness, your full potential, the incredible leader, the next president of maybe or prime minister of the United Kingdom, the next greatest politician, best-selling author of the best books our world will ever get to know, is sitting right here. Say big amen. Right here. And what happens? You're too blind. The physical. She looks like this. It's just a seed. As we put them in a box, citrus fruits, oh, they are all just black. They are all just women. They are all just single mothers. They are all just, unemployed, whatever. They are all just that. And the worst thing, it's okay if people label you whatever they want to label you. Like I said, someone who is ignorant about what these fruits are cannot tell. So if they label you, no problem with that because they are ignorant about who you truly are and your power. And my heart bleeds when we start labeling ourselves. How many of us say I'm rubbish? I still cannot comprehend how someone can pay me to put themselves down. I'm rubbish, I'm not good enough. We're humans, we're imperfect. We make mistakes. It doesn't mean you're rubbish. So you cannot look at yourself at the end. The seed is still within you. Yet to flourish and become all that you were created to become. So nothing that you need to become is out there, externally. You have a unique DNA at conception. Can we imagine like that seed? You sow it, it becomes a tree, it produces oranges, and then it produces so many oranges. We're once tiny little fetus. Within that fetus, we became a little baby. We couldn't even walk. We couldn't even talk. No one could understand us. But I love children. They don't give up and say, I can't speak their language. I can't speak the adult language. They're going to laugh at me. They just say blah, blah, blah. You don't hear them. They cry even louder. And even when we were born, we couldn't walk. Did we go look for the legs to walk externally? Did we go to school to get some PhD to start moving these legs? We are destined to naturally grow at a point in time. There's a stage when we are babies, when we become toddlers. We start walking. That child learns to walk. At the beginning, they can only sit. Then they even fall. They start walking. Then now we are growing and walking. And let me go back to that seed. What will happen if I have that orange seed? I give it to the beautiful Irene. She keeps it in her hand or her pocket. Or I keep it here. We put all sorts of, we dress it with Versace, Gucci, whatever it is. What will happen to that seed? Right. Okay. A seed forever. Potential. Trap. Lost potential. Will never live to benefit from these incredible oranges, unfortunately. That's what's happening to some of us. We're playing small, not good enough. I'm not going to go out there to be sold. I'm not going to go out there to be nurtured. I'm only a seed. People will laugh at me and make fun of me. We need to step out to unlock this power within. We need to sow and nurture it. Like we take that seed. Can we just go ahead? If we don't sow that seed in a fertile ground, oh, I have a beautiful picture. I'm not going to go there because it's just going to delay me. I'll just rush down, finish up. I'll leave that for you.
Do you want to keep the seed?
No, just go on. Go on, yeah. Go to the next seed. No, it's okay. Let's go back there. It's at the back. I don't want to go there.
Okay.
No, come back to the front, please.
Seed. So unfortunately, we just need that seed in life. And most people see us at that stage and they lie with us. I'm pleading with you, and that's why we are here today. Get as much as you can. If I still take that seed, I sow it on that cement, on that road, nothing will happen. It has to be a fertile ground. Am I right? I need to nurture and nourish it. Can you imagine the seed going under the ground? If we could hear it speak, I'm sure we'll be like, it's too dark in here, it's so unfair. I have no light. It's not what we do sometimes. The pain we go through to become our best selves. The pain we go through to experience that transformation from that butterfly to the beautiful, from that caterpillar to the beautiful butterfly. We don't have to dislike any part or any stage of our road. Embrace it, love it, cherish it, because transformation is from inside out. Once the seed has gone and become that shoot, we can't go back looking for it. A lot of people at work would say, oh, let's go heal your traumatic past. Let's go back to your past. Today is the present. You are gone. It's like, let's go back and find that butterfly, that caterpillar. It used to be ugly. Some grandma made it this. Come on. It's gone. The only thing we have is now, is today, is the present, to become our best selves. To nurture ourselves today. Didn't work on a plan yesterday. You do it today. Sow that seed of greatness. Where is the fertile ground? I want to tell you when I read this. It's the mind. It's the mind. That fertile ground is your mind. Like that fertile ground in the body where you sow that seed. Your mind is where your greatness can be chopped, killed, and trapped, or where it is called effortlessly and become a very good expression of yourself. When you have that receptive and nurturing growth mind and mindset, it's incredible how it's going to nourish that seed of greatness within you. Everything that you're still to become. What are you saying to yourself? I'm speaking. Let me tell you this, let's not be fooled. I tell my kids, even sometimes they really know we don't use creative words at home. Some things will be like, oh mom, you're too much extra. That's what they say. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, it's just a joke. I'm like, you cannot joke. It's like you shoot a bullet. Words are alive or dead. You shoot a bullet. We've seen children kill their parents. They thought it was a game. And that was it. A life is taken and dead. When you speak those words, day one, I'm horrible, I'm this, I'm that, day two, day three. After that, anxiety, depression. Depression is life, it is lifeless. You're depressed. There is no life because consistent. The words we think are dead. The words we speak are dead. We have no zeal for life anymore. It's a principle. It's not whether I like it or not. Can you please do this later on? Please. Can you do this later on? Please. We have time when you have a good food. So, it's just all time. You die slowly. For one joke. I said, why can you not joke with something positive? Oh, you're so gorgeous. You're so amazing. I'm the best in the world. I said, oh, it's a joke. Have you realized that jokes are always negative? The deadly words that kill and destroy. So I want us to know it's not how I feel. It's a principle. A principle is a law. Created by the manufacturer of the product. If Samsung says, for this phone to function well, do not put it in water. Whether I feel today like getting water or not is irrelevant. It functions without staying in water. I strongly believe in an ultimate creator, an almighty God, who's manufactured us and said words and life or death is a principle. Every deadly word you speak upon your life, you bring death upon your life. Every empowering, positive word, you bring life. And so what happens? Let me give you a visual example. How many of us have had a car we drove here today? Whose car takes petrol, diesel, Do you like the smell of diesel? Do you like the smell of petrol? Can any of us consume petrol? Can we go to the petrol station and say, I really don't like petrol. It smells really terrible. I'm going to get some champagne. How do they call it? I don't know the name. I'm putting my car because I'm so high class. I'm going to get some fresh orange juice. I'm putting in my car. How many of us will do that? What will happen? What will happen to our car? I don't really feel great today. I feel so low. I don't feel like getting petrol. The smell of that petrol is really terrible. So I'm going to put what I like. Life my own way, in my terms. I'm going to put what I want in my car, in my terms. You didn't create a car. You didn't. There's some principles and laws that govern the functioning of your car at its maximum potential. Why do we think when it comes to the most precious and priceless possession, our incredibly sacred self, we can do what we want to do in the name of feelings? Feelings are volatile. Feelings are temporal. When we feel our emotional brain, which is the most primitive brain, kick in, what happens in scientific terms, there is a hijack. You know, like a thief can come in and hijack the beautiful owner of this home. Now they take control of everything that belongs to your home. But they are thieves. There is something in our brain, the limbic system, that's what controls the emotion. They call it the amygdala. Whenever you are emotional, it hijacks your conscious brain. It sabotages it. You can't think. And that's why when we are emotional, an angry person, you make irrational decision. You do something you regret. That's why they tell you something like if you're so angry, calm down, breathe. Because when you start counting, your conscious brain kicks in. It takes over. I own this body. I'm in possession. As I think, so I become. I'm the master of this body. I'm going to choose, and I understand that I'm not just a physical body, we are spiritual beings. A mind that is governed by the Spirit brings life to this body. I'm going to allow my spiritual nature, because that's a true power. Like we talked of love, we talked of peace. Those are spiritual entities. You can't touch love. Am I right? You can't hold it. And so I'm going to walk with love. But when you come to a place where there's love, you experience it. You know genuinely. When you go where there is light, you experience light. The true power in you, which is a seed of greatness, lies in the spirit. You are created to stand out, to be magnificent, to thrive in everything you do. We are not just created to do a job, to put food on our table, to earn a wage. What brings you deep? What makes you go to bed? If you were to go to bed today and it's the last day, you go to bed smiling. I lived fully. I treated myself in the best way I could possibly do. I cared for myself, and I ensured that everyone I encountered around the way, today I gave them love. I gave them my all. I shared my gifts like those fruits. When those trees produce those fruits, what happens? Do they eat the fruits? Have you ever seen a tree eating its fruits? It's for the benefit. Our gifts are meant to be shared. Find that gift within you, which is your power. Go out and share with the world. There's no blessing to give than to receive. It's incredibly fulfilling. It's incredibly fulfilling. And the best of yourself, let's never settle for less. We're super amazing, super powerful. And I just thank you so very much. Remember who you are. When you know where you are, or when you know in life, there's a tendency that you are unsettled for you to life. You live below our potential. Let's rise up and find that seed of greatness within us. Our heart's desires, the things we yearn to do, the things we are passionate about. Maybe when we were children, before people started putting us down, you are not good, you are this. Go back and look for those things. It's an indication. Your greatest strength is an indication of the power and greatness within you. It's not by chance that our eyes were put given lenses and never nostrils or teeth. Am I right? To fulfill your purpose. Don't take your strengths for granted. Don't focus so much on the things you cannot do. Sometimes there are no weaknesses. Like the eyes cannot breathe. It cannot hear. I don't want you to waste your time figuring out whether you can breathe or hear, so I don't give you any nostrils. I don't give you, just focus on what you are great at. And I wish you an incredible International Women's Month as we come on with our incredible next speaker. Thank you so very much.
We're going to have our inspirational talks. Some people have told me not to call them first. I'm not sure you told me not to call you first. She's an incredible lady. I will let her introduce herself. You know what, I've got to really hear because she's amazing. She's been the only, I think, black female police constable in the, I will let her introduce yourself. She's amazing. A true leader, a true trailblazer, a visionary, a wonderful Irene Arthur.
That's okay.
She's incredible. I know her. She just said to me, that's why I'll be undecided, so I have to make a choice. And I know she's fine. You look beautiful.
Thank you, Sylvie, thank you. And hello, everybody. I did ask Sylvie not to put me on first. But I'll forgive you, Sylvie, because you are such a wonderful person. Yeah, I know. Let me introduce myself. My name is Irene Apple, and I'm an equality and diversity consultant. I've set up my own business and I work with lots of organisations to help them on their journey towards recruiting more diverse workforce and developing more diverse staff to get them to more leadership positions. And I work with the board and senior leaders of organisations as well, and I do training as well. But my talk today is around the bold actions that I've taken, I suppose, in my life to get me to where I am today. So as Sylvia briefly mentioned, I was a police officer, I was a police detective inspector in the Merseyside Police, and became the first black female inspector of Merseyside Police in history. That was not something that I set out to do. I started from very humble beginnings. I grew up in Toxteth. I was living in Toxteth when the riots happened. I suffered racist abuse from police officers in the community, as many of my family and community members did. So I didn't have a very good impression or very good opinion of the police. In fact, I was fearful of them because they were dangerous, particularly in terms of the black community. So I then left school, moved on, and started working for the local authority. And I was working as a child protection legal assistant and studying law, and I was happy with doing that. For me, it was great. And then I met a couple of police officers who were detectives who dealt with child abuse cases from the criminal side, who dealt with the civil side. And one of them said to me one day, "Have you ever thought of joining the police?" And I was like, "Why on earth would you even suggest that to me?" Like, absolutely not. I'd rather stick a hot poker in my eye than join the police. Because from my experience, it wasn't a place where I could thrive at all. But these two officers were really ordinary, nice people, not my experience of the police. So I mulled over it a little while and I thought, now, okay, I've got my opinion from my experiences. I wonder what it's like on the inside, but clearly there are some people that seem to be okay. So I decided to apply. I didn't think I'd get in, to be honest, because I came from Toxteth for one thing. I was a woman, and I was black. I was just not the typical view of what a police officer was back at that time. How did it go? They can only say no, can't they? So I applied, and I passed the recruitment process to my surprise, and then next minute I'm being given a start date. You're going to be a police officer starting on the 25th of February 1991, and then I was like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? Because I wasn't expecting it. And I spoke to my family. I had some community members and friends tell me that I was going over to the dark side, that I was a traitor, that I, all this, that and the other, because of the experiences. And then I thought, but you know what? You can't make a difference from the outside. You can only make a difference from the inside. You can't change from without. You can only change within. From within. And I thought, I'm going to do it. This is what I want to do. I want to serve the community. I want to see how the police operates and see how it can improve. Because clearly what Thank you. So I joined, and as I expected, I suffered racism and I suffered sexism. I was expecting it, so it wasn't something that was like, oh my God, this is out of the blue. So I was prepared, I was mentally prepared for those battles. And at first, when you first start, obviously you've got your relationship with your colleagues, because your colleagues are there to protect you. If you're out of control and you get into trouble, you expect somebody to turn and come back in. So you have to develop those relationships with people, even though you know that some of those people may have a negative view of you for who you are and what you look like. So I built good relationships with colleagues, and I worked hard. Basically, I got out there and worked hard, supported victims, got into the community, did my foot patrol, and worked hard. And for me, it was about making a difference to communities, but it was also about making a difference to other police officers, because they had views of black people, and women particularly, that were very positive, and that were like, well, what can you do? You're just a woman, you know, you can't get into, you know, rough and things like that. Well, I was a blue belt at that time in martial arts, so I could fight so much better than many of my male colleagues, and I showed that when I was out on patrol and we got involved in confrontational situations. I was right at the front and I was getting stuck in, and it was like, my goodness, you know, women can do things. Yes, we absolutely can. We can get involved in everything that we can get involved in. But one advantage that we as women have is we can talk our way out of situations. We have communication skills and we can talk people down. We don't have to go in and fight and start scrapping. We can actually talk people down and using our other skills, our skills as women. And that's what I used as well. So I worked hard and I wanted to get promoted, because as a constable you don't really have a voice to make to effect that change. So I studied the exams and I eventually got through sergeants, did the inspectors and got through to inspector. And I was surprised to find that I was the first black woman inspector in those cycles. I was really surprised, and I really found out because I was approached by a local historian who wanted to write a book about it. And I was like, why hasn't this happened before? And then I looked at the way the police operated, and of course it hasn't happened before, because people who looked like me, they're just not, they weren't on that kind of wavelength. So when I made it to inspector and I became the highest ranking black person in the force at that time, and of course, for me, that then gave me a voice, and I thought, I've got to use this voice for positive change. And that's what I did. I started to agitate for change, changes in policies, changes in our recruitment processes, changes in how we treat people from within. I mean, when I joined as a police woman, I was given a truncheon that was that size, and the men had one that size. I had to wear skirts, I had to carry a handbag. How can you start climbing over fences and things like that, you know, when you wear the skirt, you know, and carrying a handbag. The uniform policy was all wrong. They didn't cater for women, they only catered for men. And even the types of uniform that we got, body armour, was for men. It wasn't, you know, to cases for our womanly shape, shall we say, so they were very, very uncomfortable. So it was about making those changes and agitating for those changes, which is what I did. And I'm glad to say that I left the police service in a much more positive way than what I found it. Because when I left, there was more senior people who were black, some more senior women in the organisation, and changes started to happen. More women, we recruit more people of colour, and change started to happen. So it was a different beast to when I joined. So I'm proud of that. I am proud of that fact. And in terms of other bold actions I've taken, setting up a business, I know nothing about business at all. I mean, I always say I'm not a businesswoman, I just do what I do to support other organisations with equality and diversity. That kind of passion came from my experiences in the police and seeing the changes that need to be made and making those changes. And I thought the police aren't unique. Many organisations have the same issues in terms of how they treat people who are different. And so setting up the business for me was about influencing other organisations from all sectors around how do you advance your women in the organisation, how do you support your women to get to those leadership positions, how do you support people of colour to get to those leadership positions. And that's what I do for my business, and it brings me great passion every time I step out the door, go into an organisation and start to influence that change. And that's what gets me more than it, shall we say. And the final bold action that I took in my life was adopting my son, who was 2 when I adopted him. I adopted him as a single parent, because I thought to myself, I've got a house, a 3-bedroom house, a lovely big garden, and rattling around in it on my own. What can I do? How can I give something to somebody who doesn't have that? And I didn't know you could adopt as a single parent at the time, so I made some inquiries about it, and then I was told, yeah, we can accept single adopted parents. So I'm going to go for it. So I was told initially that it would take 2 to 3 years to get through the assessment process, and then find a child. So I was like, that's fine, I'm happy with that. Because I just started a master's degree, so I was thinking that gives me time to finish the master's degree. Happy days. No. 9 months. 9 months, my son was living with me in the house. I'm in the first year of a master's degree, I'm a single parent, I'm working a full-time job at the police, working shifts, and I was like, oh my God, how do I do this? How do I get through this? How? And I was just thinking, well, you've got to, you've got your son, you've got the job, you've just got to have to do it. And I don't know how I do it, I can't tell you how I did it, but I did it. My son's now 17 years old, he's autistic as well, he's got ADHD, so we had lots of challenges around getting him the right education and stuff like that. But I did it, and he's just the most amazing young man. And for me, it's like, you've got to put yourself out of your comfort zone. I didn't know, like, first of all, I didn't know how I was going to perform in the police. Secondly, I didn't know how I was going to do it in business. And thirdly, I didn't know how I was going to, what kind of mother I was going to be. Because, you know, I was doing it on my own, and I thought, you know what, all I need to do is provide him with love and to make sure he's got a safe home and to make sure that I'm there for him when he knows that I'm there for him and I love him and I'll support him every which way, and that's what I did. And he's turned out okay so far. So far, he's 17, but he's turned out okay so far. So I suppose my message is, you don't know what you're capable of until you put yourself into those positions where you have to do something and you have to perform, and you find it within yourself somehow. You find it within yourself to try to perform and to excel in those situations. And it's just about taking a chance. Take a chance on yourself. Take a chance that you can do what you want to do. Because for me, it's like, you know, stepping out of the comfort zone is difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. But imagine the riches that we get behind doing that. I mean, the thing for me is like leaving the police force in a way that it was better than when I started, doing the work that I do in business and having my useful boy. Every time I look at him, every time he smiles at me, it melts my heart. And you know, if I hadn't taken the bold action to go into that process and adopt him, I wouldn't have the riches that he brings to my life that I've got now. So all I would say, step out your comfort zone, take a chance on yourself, put yourself out there, and you will achieve and you will thrive, because there will be people around you who will support you.
Wow, thank you so much. Amazing. I'm sure we've learned a lot from her, and you know, like she said, you have to put yourself out there. You'll not be actually, if you don't do that, you might be able to miss a lot of those opportunities. You will not be able to tell what you are capable of doing. It's like, if we go back to that plant, if I said, if you don't sow that seed, you will not be able to understand that I could become an orange rather than just remaining as a seed. And you've done incredibly, you know, some wonderful work out there, and she's still working with a lot of organizations on equality, diversity, and inclusion, which is so important, because unfortunately, if our world does not include others, we are missing out. We are missing out. It's like the nose not including the eyes in this part of the body. Honestly, we are all unique. We are all unique. And like people have always said, racism is taught. All of these things are taught. Take a child, bring a newborn child, maybe even 2 years old, and put a child who actually is from the most deprived background with a child of maybe Prince William. Yeah. They'll just blend, no difference, no inferiority complex. Until we are told to maybe treat people according to their skin color or race, religion. Unfortunately, we start doing that. So let's go back to the basics, just being who we are is so beautiful, what we can learn from each other. Thank you so much. And I'm going to go to my incredible next speaker, inspirational young speaker and leader. And she happens to be my daughter, my first daughter. But she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And she's following the footsteps, of course, of these incredible leaders you see here. We strongly believe in passing on the baton. We need to pass on the baton to our young people. They are our future. They are tomorrow. And that's one of the reasons I want to remind each one of us as we leave this space today. Are we so focused on ourselves that we fail to nurture our children? Are we so much about me, that we fail to take care of them and point them to the right direction? We might have made our own mistakes, but let's still be there and be the best. I know of Dr. Ben Carson, the mother of an illiterate. Can you believe that?
But he kept saying, go to school, go and school. He never knew until one day, I think he had a scholarship. If he was the gifted hands, he brought it to the mom. He was so excited. It was before the mom would be asking them, what did you do in school? How many did you get? They never understood that she couldn't read. She's asking them to tell her. So that day she was so excited and she just threw this. He just threw the scholarship there. Mommy, read, read, read. He said, come on, read. He said, no, Mommy, that's it. He said, come on, tell me. Mommy said, Mom said, my son, I can't read or write. And she was in tears and he started sobbing as well. Mommy, you need to tell me all these years you've been telling us to go to the library. We come back and ask us, what do we do? And you actually go through with us. He said, if you realize that I want you to tell me. So you read and I just listen. I cannot read. So it doesn't matter where you are in our own journey. Our help may be failing us. They don't need to follow the same path. After this opportunity, I'll introduce an incredible young leader to you. She's the founder and CEO of the Organic Cosmetic Skincare line. Some of you have seen it there. I use that product myself. And she's blessed to have me, not only as a mom, but I'm a research director, also a research director as well. And I use her products within skincare. She's also the founder of Becoming Publishing. We do a lot of books, 4 times author. Inspirational speaker, the wonderful and really kindly. Over to you.
Everybody, it's really nice to be speaking here in front of you. So as my name said, my name is Latoya Kambi. I am the CEO and founder of Tazai Skincare and Cosmetics. Some of my products are over there. And I founded that when I was just 13 years old with a passion and love for skincare. I started with a skincare set that I was gifted as a Christmas gift. And I was selling to friends and family in school. And I'm also an author, as my mom mentioned. I do a lot of work on personal development. I'm an award-winning public speaker, and then I also do a lot of personal development work. And I recently have just, not recently actually, just a couple of years ago, launched my very first magazine, which is all about giving young people who are thriving in their selected areas, giving them an opportunity to not only have a platform to gain exposure, but to also inspire other young people. And I also have a planner called the New Year Better Me Planner, so a few of my books and my magazines are over there that you can take a look at after, and then my products are in the other room. So, talking about courage, one of the very first times that I had to encounter being courageous and really going out of my comfort zone was when I first started talking. Often something that I get is, wow, you talk amazingly, you're so, so confident, but it wasn't always like that. So I very firstly started talking when I was 10 years old. My first book was written when I was 7, and I went on to have that book published when I was 10. And that was a short stories book, which included short moral stories to teach children, kindness, just your basic values as a child. And that was when I was, kind of put in the spotlight for the first time. I started being invited to interviews and public speaking events. And I remember when I first started, obviously as a child, we don't really have limits, we're kind of limitless in a way. But I was also 10 years old, so I was a bit at a point where sometimes it could be a bit nerve-wracking for me to talk, and it was really something that I had to get used to. And pushing myself out of my comfort zone has resulted in me being where I am today, me having the skills to, stand here and talk in front of you, and, in school, talk to my peers, encourage them to talk to other people as well. And I often help out in school doing, presenting in teachers' meetings or teachers' conferences. And people often say, wow, how do you do this? But they don't realize that people never see, or people never knew where you were in the beginning. They only see the product of you. And just like my mom was talking about, the fruits and the seeds, it's so important, especially as parents, to nurture your child, to nurture the seeds, so that when people do see that fruit, and when they see what has been harvested, what has been reaped, they can think as well the same thing, like, wow, how does she have the ability to do that without knowing what that child, or the effort that you had put into that child for them to be able to bloom and flourish. And so over the years, I've been very grateful to have done a lot of personal development work. So as I said before, I have my New Year Better Me Planner, and I regularly host, I am doing my A-levels right now, so I have kind of taken a break from a lot of things, but I regularly was hosting a personal development event. So I had my very first personal development brunch event with a lot of people my age. I also hosted a sip and paint, non-alcoholic, with personal development incorporated. And what the girls do who come to my events are they come, we use our planners, we reflect on the month. I usually host them at the start of the new month so we can reflect on the month before and also set our goals for the new month. And then my skincare brand is also all based on, you know, courage and confidence. So not only did I start off with a passion for skincare, but I also grew up with the love for makeup as well, just like every other little girl. And what makes Tezai Skincare and Cosmetics different from other brands, I can stand here today and I can go on about how, oh, they're all 100% organic, they're cold pressed, and people often, you know, throw around those labels as maybe like a USP or like a PR stunt. But what makes my brand different is that I am at the young age where a lot of young girls struggle with so many insecurities, and because of society and because of social media and because of the media in general, we are taught to conceal our flaws, and a lot of the makeup and skincare brands are doing more harm than good, not only because of the synthetic chemicals, of the, you know, a lot of skincare brands that are lying and selling products to young children that contain hormone disruptors, you know, things that disrupt your skin and your health in the long term, and it's all in the name of concealing your flaws, concealing your insecurities, because if you have an insecurity, it can be fixed. You can just cover it over. And what makes Tezai different is because these are natural products sourced and extracted cold pressed from, you know, natural body butters, cacao, coconut. What that does is help you to embrace your flaws. But it's not only telling you that it's okay to be different, it's okay to have a unique image, it's also helping you to love your skin, to nurture your skin and give it what it really needs, rather than, you know, concealing your imperfections, you know, then enhancing your beauty completely to the point where it's changed completely, you know, and it's affecting your self-esteem. And that also then relates to my books as well. Everything I do is intertwined, everything I do relates. So as I touched on before, I had a short stories book called Short Stories by Latoya Lekambi, and then I went on to writing Casey's Diary, which is a series. I published my first, Casey's Diary, and then Casey's Diary and Anderson Adventure. Published my first one, I was 12, and then my most recent part of the series, it wasn't really recently actually, I think I was like 14, I'm now 18. So the book was based on the main character in my short stories book, and her name was Casey, and she was a very bubbly, a very bright character. She was extremely confident, she had a lot of friends, and I decided to take her out of this book based on things that I was seeing around me. So me personally, of course, sometimes there are times where people will test your confidence and your self-esteem, but I've never really had deep self-esteem issues. But I grew up in an all-girls school, not primary school, but for the most of my secondary school life, I spent in an all-girls school until I moved, and then that was a mixed school. But what I was seeing was that girls were suffering with, you know, low self-esteem, confidence issues, and even the way some girls treated you was just a projection of, you know, their issues that they suffered internally, and they had nobody to turn towards because, I don't know, maybe their household wasn't stable, they didn't have the correct support. And of course, I would never use that as an excuse to say the way they would treat me or other people were okay. Luckily, I already had my foundation, I knew who I was, but in cases where there were other girls who didn't know who they were, those girls would, you know, get to them and destroy their self-esteem and break them down. So I decided to take this character out, and I decided to use her as a prime example, Casey, of a girl who had grown up, and she was actually, this story is based in America. So she grew up, she went to middle school, and she developed confidence issues in and out of school, and it led her to actually betray her own friends, friends who she, you know, worked so hard to find, and finally, you know, felt as if she had known herself and accepted herself. But the thing is that because she placed her worth on external things rather than internal and intrinsic things, she didn't know her value. So she betrayed those friends of hers, and she started to seek outer validation from people who didn't even like her, people who didn't even accept her. And eventually she had realized what she had done. She regretted it deeply, and she went back to her friends and she apologized. But because of, the shock and how much it took them aback, they actually didn't accept her apology. And one key message in this series is the power and the spirit of consistency. So she could have just decided to say that I have broken this relationship. This is a bridge that is broken and it can't be built again. But she actually apologized again and again and again. And this is a message that I have pushed ever since I've been given a platform to talk, is the power of consistency. Ever since she went back and she kept apologizing and apologizing, eventually they realized that she is fighting for our friendship. She does really care, and this is a mistake that she has made. And she gained that friendship back. And she still hasn't completely gained her confidence back yet, because she's still on a journey to that. But this, going back to this theme of consistency again, just shows that when you are consistent with your results, although you don't see them at the moment, you need to know that in the future, that result is there. And all you have to do is keep being consistent and you will get there in the end. One thing I teach and one thing I work by a lot, I think this is probably thanks to my mother, is the power of vision. Because I already know where I want to be in the future, no matter how hard things are in the present, I know that it's okay, this is just a phase. And one thing that has made me realize this in particular is doing my GCSEs and doing my A-levels. So I do really value education a lot, but over the years, as I've grown older, I've really learned to, actually find more value in it than I did before. Not only because it's a privilege that a lot of people don't have in other countries, but also because I've seen it with people I've grown around that maybe because they've thrown their education away, they've lost certain privileges. And I just know that even people who come from the most poorest of backgrounds, once they are granted with that opportunity of education, it just gives you access to thrive anywhere. So whilst I was doing my GCSEs, I've always been quite, I don't want to say bad, because I don't want to speak that on myself, but I've never been quite confident with maths. It's always been one of my struggling subjects. I'm more of an English and arts person. At the moment, I'm studying philosophy, business, and Spanish actually. But at the time, I was very artistic, very humanitarian based. I liked history and all of that stuff. And ever since I was younger, even in primary school, maths has just always been my struggling point, my breaking point. And I was getting to the point where, as I was doing my GCSEs, I had picked my dream college, and I could literally only see myself there. This was my dream sixth form college. And in order to get that, not only did I need to pass, but I needed a certain grade to be able to do the courses that I wanted to do. And these courses would actually enable me to go on to do what I want in university. So this was a very big decision. This was a big step for me. And I was just failing in maths over and over again. It got to the point where I had 3 months left before my exams, and I was just failing, and I was failing, and I was failing. I was barely touching passes, to be honest. And I had to sit down with myself at one point, and I really had to sit there and envision and imagine how life would be like when I finally got to that point, and ask myself, do I really want this? So when it was time to apply to colleges, usually you would apply to 3, 4, just to stay safe. And I said, no, I literally only see myself here, and I can't go anywhere else. And it got to the point where even my family were like, this is not a good decision. This is a very, very risky decision. You've, shown that sometimes you pass, but it's very inconsistent. And this was a very internal thing, because my family are very supportive. They, especially my parents, really supportive. But this time, this was about me and myself, and this just shows you that your confidence and your security has to really come from within, no matter how supportive people are around you. So even my parents were saying, this is not the safest of options. It's not a very safe thing to put all your eggs into one basket. But because of how strong that vision was, I did end up getting the, not only passing, but also getting the grade that I needed for the course. and I've now been at my dream school for the past 2 years. I'm about to sit my A-levels in that same school as well, and go on to hopefully do the degree that I want to do in university. And that just goes to show that the power of consistency is very, very important, especially as a young business owner. But business aside, in life, consistency is it's a principle that is extremely important. And I always use the example of J.K. Rowling, whose book was rejected so many times, and now she has one of the most best-selling books out there. And even Walt Disney, his vision and his ideas were rejected over and over again, and now Disney and his concepts are all over the place. Children, before they even learn how to speak, they know, they can recognize Disney and things like that, and that just goes to show that with consistency and with courage, they come hand in hand. With consistency comes courage, and with courage comes consistency. So that is what I have to say today. And if you would like to purchase any of my magazines, they're all here today, or you could purchase them at lecambyglobalpublishing.com, which is our family-run publishing company. And I also have all of my skincare, hair care, and body care products in the back. And that is all I have to say today.
Amazing. That was amazing. Thank you. Really incredible. And just remarkably, consistency. That's it. Just never give up. Just keep pushing, keep pressing on. And definitely the next speaker, she's an epitome of the power of consistency and being persistent. I'm going to introduce to you the founder and CEO of, let me get that. Active Mind Daycare. Oh yeah, and she's got another center now. It's actually a daycare center for people with dementia. She's actually set up in Sefton, but right now she's opened a second center right at the heart of LA, Kumbaimani, and she's doing an incredible job in the community and beyond. And she's an epitome of the word consistency and persistence. The wonderful persistence, Michelle King. It's good to have our Michelle.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nobody knows, but this is one of my biggest challenges today. Sylvia does know. I've never spoken in public. I've done talks within my comfort zone, but public speaking is not my forte. But I took it up as a challenge, and I said I had to step out of my comfort zone to be able to do something comfortable. So please bear with me. My speech is written on a paper, and that's my comfort blanket for today. So what a privilege it is to stand here before you today on this special occasion, International Women's Day. Today we celebrate the strength, the resilience and achievements of women worldwide. But more importantly, we remind each other that our stories are still being written. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Michelle King. I'm a woman, also a woman of color, a nurse, an entrepreneur, and the founder and CEO of Active Minds Day Center, CIC, an organization that supports people with dementia and their carers. I have walked a road filled with a lot of challenges, setbacks, and moments where the world tried to tell me that this is not for you. But let me tell you something. I refused to listen. Because for me, life was like a book. Some chapters were filled with joy, some with pain, and some are downright heartbreaking. But if you never turn the page, you'll never know what the next chapter holds. So I started teaching myself, having worked in various organizations, having faced various challenges and setbacks. I started looking for inspiration, started going to networking sessions. Sylvia's event in 2019 was the first ever networking event that I went to before I could start up. So there are a few things that I taught myself, but one was resilience. And to me, resilience was the power to rise. So as women, but especially as women of color, we know what it means to fight for our place at the table. We have been told the word no many times, more than we can count. But as one of the great authors, Maya Angelou, said, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. I faced discrimination, I faced doubt, I faced miscarriage of justice, I faced setbacks that could have made me quit, but I chose to keep turning the page. Because when someone tells you, you can't do this, to me what it really means is, I can't see myself doing this, but you can. And I did. The other part of me that kept me going was my determination. For me, the determination was the fire that fueled me. And when I started Active Minds Day Centre, my mission was clear. It was to create a space where people living with dementia, especially from the Black, Asian and minority ethnic communities, could feel understood, valued and cared for. I was met with many obstacles, doors were closed, and people doubted me. But I remembered the words of Nelson Mandela, who we all really know very well. It always seems impossible until it's done. And today, by the grace of God, Active Minds is a huge success, and we're about to open our second centre at the Kumbh Imani in May, because I refuse to accept that where I started was where I had to stay. Giving up is not an option in my book. I rise, I fall, and I rise again. And let me remind you, don't you give up when you can't see results straight away. That's good, don't worry, be happy.
You can use that every time.
Yes, every time, yeah. Some things take time, but just be patient with yourself. Self-belief is the key to breaking many barriers. So to every woman in this room, do not wait for permission to step into your greatness. Do not let someone else's fear define your future. Do not shrink yourself into spaces you were meant to own. Strong women don't have attitudes. They have strong standards and firm boundaries. The destiny is in your hands. The road will not always be easy. You will face storms. You will be told no. You will have moments where you feel like giving up. But remember this. They tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. So today I stand before you as a woman who refused to stop growing. And I challenge you all, turn the page. Your next chapter is waiting. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much. So when they try to bury you, push you down, never. It's an opportunity for you to really do not acknowledge your hands proud and fulfill your greatest potential. Thank you so very much. I'm not going to take much time with him. Luckily, there's one speaker is missing, so that's why we're going to catch up with time. I'm going to introduce our last speaker now. You just want to put your yeah, definitely. And I'll leave her to introduce herself. So perfect.
I'm just going to do one.
And after this, we're going to have the panel session. Our other incredible speakers will join us on the panel. And please, you'll be able to ask them questions. Even all of those who have spoken, please ask them these questions later. We'll take some questions at the end, if you don't mind. We want to make you get the best. And then when we have some wonderful, delicious food, you can actually ask all the questions you want. We'll be having a panel session soon. Awesome.
It's me with the link to if anyone's on there.
I'll help you.
Okay. So I'm going to actually, we're all about unleashing bold action for health and growth. And I just want to check in. I mean, I feel like you've had some really inspirational speakers. So, and who, let's have a show of hands, like generally, are you wanting to step forward into bold action?
Yes.
I mean, let's just check it. I mean, I feel inspired.
Yes, I
So not everyone's putting their hands up. So I'm just checking who I'm speaking to, because I'm a coach, so we're going to maybe do a little exercise. So, are you up for, like, genuinely, even if you're not like fully tuned into it yet and a bit reticent, does anyone have the little seed inside that's thinking,
Yeah.
yeah? Hands up over there. Okay. So, and I really think, in order to, you're looking like in order to really unleash our power so that we can step into bold action, I really do believe that it is about connection, yes, for sure, and really stepping into our self-leadership. And we've heard the really inspiring stories from different ages and backgrounds, and how at the end of the day, you found resilience, even when there was a lot of noise outside saying no, or you can't, or you're a woman, or you're this colour. But if we actually lead ourselves, as these amazing women have shown us, then we can step into bold action. So, I think it's just yeah. So, and this is just we're doing International Women's Day. It's okay, we don't need to worry about this too much. But it's good to connect. I think all the speakers have talked about, they're very present when they're speaking, very clear of who they are, but they're also clear on where they've been, and also they've had the vision of where they're going. And we as women, when we support each other, and the men in the room as well, to help each other rise, and when we think of where we've come from and who's supported us, even like the first black woman in the horrible situation in the police, and finding the strength to carry on in your situation and so on. I think the three things kind of connect together. So being here now, look at where we've been and where we're going. So, who's up for a little bit of an exercise? So I'm going to work quite quickly. We're okay for time, but we'll work quite quickly. And sometimes